The Fountain of Youth isn't just another Derby prep, it's a Derby launch pad, producing many winners over the years.
But I think this year might be a down year.
A down year, says Vinny, on this year's Fountain of Youth Stakes. The Fountain of Youth has produced Sovereignty, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, Doorknock, the Belmont Stakes winner 2 years ago. Forte ran in this race and won it, and Simplification a few years back ran and finished fourth in the Kentucky Derby. The Gotham Stakes, on the other hand, is 0 for 49 in sending horses to the Kentucky Derby with, I think, 2 places. So I turned my attention towards the Fountain of Youth for doubling down. This is doubling down. I'm Colin. He's Vinny. We're going to get into your thoughts on why you think it's a down year, and I'm really interested to hear those thoughts. We also have on the channel a look at the Gotham, and Vinny did a look at the Rebel Stakes. So plenty of content across the channel. We'll have reaction Saturday night and Sunday on what happens. And don't forget the Rebel is on Sunday, so that is important. Vinny, you excited for this week's races?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely have a better idea of the Derby picture after this weekend. I think there's definitely some big players running, and some horses like we're going to talk about Napoleon Solo, a couple horses with a lot of hype coming into this year for the Derby Trail that make their 3-year-old debut. So we'll see if they live up to it, or if if somebody else jumps up and all of a sudden is in the Derby top 10.
We'll take a look at race 13 and 14 is where we're going for our daily double for this weekend's tournament, and it's free to play. Head on over to doublingdown.glide.page. You can play your daily doubles with us. It is free to play. This month's sponsor is Sherbet Coffee. Top 3 winners. First place is going to get a tumbler and coffee. Second and third place are going to get free coffee. I drink Sherbet Coffee myself, and they support equine aftercare for every sale that they make. So head on over to their website and check them out. And Vinny, look at the leaderboard. It's still anybody's game. I think that you could certainly have some craziness happen over the course of race 13 and 14 at Gulfstream this weekend. And that $41 lead by Chumbo is not safe, in my opinion. So if you haven't signed up, it's time. You got one last weekend, and you can't wait to share the news that I have for the month of March, which includes me maybe heading out to Vegas. So that's a little bit of a tease, and we'll get into that next week with the NHC. So stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button and get in there and play. Top 3. So even if it's $29 to sneak into third place, Vinny, I think this double, we had 3 weeks of pretty short prices in our double. This one can mix it up, right?
Yeah, I mean last weekend wasn't. I don't think last weekend's was too short. I think the first leg was chalk, but Great White was a good price last weekend. So
Yes,
that
turf
was
which I completely whiffed.
Yeah, turf. Yep. I was right on the first leg. We were right. The second leg though, I did not. We talked about him on the preview show a little bit, and we both agreed that we didn't think he was gonna keep going when he was on the lead, and sure enough, he kept going, and nobody else ran with him. So we're not always right, but at least we have good insight.
Race 13 on Saturday is a stakes race, mile and 3/8 on the turf for 4-year-olds and up. Speaking about horses that maybe can get on the lead and keep going, the number 3 layabout is where I wanted to start. Big Brown out of Big Brown Mare. I think that adds some stamina, and the stretching out pedigree to me is right where this horse probably wants to be. Got a 108 Equibase speed figure last time out, but more importantly for me, that was in a grade 3 here at Gulfstream Park on January 24th. I don't know that there's a ton of speed in this race, so I'm kind of hoping that the number 3 layabout can get out to the lead and just take them wire to wire is how I envisioned possibly the 3 doing this. And when I looked at the pace projection on RaceLens, that's exactly what I saw. Early 3. That's a pretty big differentiator when we look at this each week, Vinny. Usually you have a couple horses that are at least around the turn on the early part of the RaceLens projection. And in the middle, It's still 3 on top. Now 3 does not get the top win percentage, actually gets 4th place at 11%. I'm not crazy about the 5 to 2 price, but I was intrigued enough by layabout to put the horse on my ticket. I wouldn't say it's my top pick, but not one that I wanted to leave off. The other thing that really popped to me, Vinny, horse for the course, 4 for 5 at Gulfstream, 4 for 6 on the turf. I thought layabout was valid enough at 5 to 2 to at least include on my ticket. You felt otherwise.
Yeah, I thought at 5 to 2, I thought there was some other speed in here. I feel like I mean, I don't think it's great speed. I think he is the best of the speed, but I thought there was enough speed in here that he was going to get some pressure, especially from the number 9 Tank. I think Tank has to go. He gets Saez, who's an aggressive rider. I mean, otherwise, I don't see why bother putting this horse in here. Like I feel like his best races are when he's on the front end. I don't think he's great. I think he is I definitely think he's a much cheaper speed. But
Mm.
I think there's some solid horses in here that I feel like if Tank goes, like he caused layabout just a little bit of trouble early, and that I think that could make the difference late. And at
He's
five to
gotta
two,
cross
that's
the
kind of
field
what
though, and he's not fast. Like, I'm not worried about Tank.
I think he's. I think he's plenty fast. I mean,
I
he kept up with them two back. I mean, layabout one, but like I mean, it's not like he hasn't run with him before.
Yeah,
So like that was my thing.
he's gonna
I
have
just
to
think he's
run
in
with
a
him for longer
yeah.
though.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, if he puts
Take's
him
a nice
away at
little
the half
underneath
mile
horse,
pole,
I
it's bad.
think. Like 30 to 1 is
Yeah,
that's a horse I'd throw in my 3rd or 4th spot.
right. And there were a couple other horses too that I think like sit close enough to the lead that they can just be a threat if that happens. I mean, obviously, if layabout just gets an easy lead and goes 24-49, race is over. Um, but like even like the number 2 in his North American debut for Motion. This is who I really like. He sat second. He sat second the whole way. He should improve second time out in North America. So I'm not like I'm not super concerned that this horse like can get out of the gate, like won't get out of the gate well. Uh like, and he was in post 10 that day. He gets a much better post today, breaking from post 2. So like I don't think this horse doesn't have early speed. I think this horse is going to be a little bit closer unless if they do this, maybe there's a problem. But I figure he'd probably be closer to the pace, but breaking with a better post position. I also thought the number who is it? The number not 6. I think it
Well, let's
was
stop right there
the
because we looked up the
yeah.
RaceLens angles just before we went on air here, and I was talking about how I pulled originally the course over the last year, the trainer motion having second start in North America was poor. It was only 7%. I think it was 1 for 14. But when you stretch that out either closer over the past 6 months or longer, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, he hits what my hunch was. Because the only reason I ran the angle was because I'm like, oh, motion second in North America. That feels pretty good to me. And then I saw that 7%. But when you stretch that out, he hits regularly at 20%. And 1 for 4 over the last 6 months. And you pointed out very smartly that one of those races was the Breeders' Cup Mile. So, that's expected that that's going to be a tough spot. And okay, crossing the line through that one. So that was good. And I'm going to include without on my ticket as well. I think that the distance is ideal for this horse. And hopefully, this second time for Grand Motion over here in North America is exactly what they need. So, without is on my ticket. So, I have the 2 and the 3 so far, and we agree on the next one as well.
I
If you're going to the
which
7.
next one? I have two next. Oh, okay. I can go to the 7. Yeah, so we both use the 7 here. This is another one that I actually think can be a little bit closer. I know his last couple races, especially his last win, he was a little farther back at Turfway. But you go back to the 2 races at Churchill and then the one at Saratoga. This horse wasn't super far off the pace. Uh, I mean, I feel like this is one where he gets the job. He gets Pratt aboard, who yes, he's had Irad for a few starts, but Pratt still, 1A with 1A with Irad, in my opinion. And really, like he can. I feel like this horse can sit closer. So I'm not, I don't see where. Like I understand this horse sat back before, but I feel like he could sit like 4 off and like at least be within striking distance. Again, if the three just goes and nobody goes with him and puts the field away on the turn, I don't think they'll catch him. But I thought he was solid price in the morning line, 5-1 for a horse that does have two is 2 for 2 at the distance, and I thought was just kind of more tactical than the last race really let on.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 for 2 at the distance. Right here, I thought the horse was beat, so I was intrigued by the chance that when they go to the left-hand whip, Zverev, I don't know how to say it. Usually you do a good job of
Yeah.
skipping him because I know you're not gonna do
Oh,
it right. He
oh yeah, I'm terrible at it.
comes back on that number 8 there, nicely in the stretch, so I thought that that was impressive. Um, so 2 for 2 at the distance and will be on my ticket. Earned a 106 Echo Base speed figure last time out, and I like the progression that I see there. Let's pull that in
Yeah,
and we'll look at the bold numbers here. 85, 99, 92. Little step back to 88. That was the grade 3. Then goes on a layoff. So goes September, comes back the next year. 94, 96. Those are coupled. Nice step up to 101. That was in July at Saratoga. Then gets another 101. Then it's 103, 102. Now another little progression up to 106.
it's
So
yeah,
I don't even think we could say that
it's
we've seen the best.
yeah, it's like when he got into Maker's Bar and he became a new horse
There you go.
because he got claimed after the he got claimed after the 10 what is it? Yeah, I believe he got claimed after the
Oh, the race at Saratoga.
what is it? The July.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
claim from Sherry DeVoe. Yep.
Yeah, and then he won 3 in a row for Maker.
He
So it's
stretched them
like
out a little bit longer, but
yeah, and
appreciates
that's
the
what
distance.
and yeah. Yep. So yeah, I agree with that. We both agreed with this one, and I also threw the other Maker on my ticket. Uh the number 6, another name that I'm gonna butcher.
Anagata.
Agenda? Okay, sure. That's how I need to just have I just need to have
There's an
like
N in there, Vinny.
the
You just
Google.
missed the N.
I got to there could be an ad in there. Um yeah, this is another one though that one for hasn't run the distance, but w- like for Maker, I like when Maker stretches them out on the turf. Ran a mile and a half last time, running a mile and three, so a little bit of a cutback, right? Yeah, mile and the 3 Um but this one really stepped up in his 4-year-old debut, like numbers wise. I know it's Sam Houston, and if I wasn't using the one Maker, I wouldn't bother using this Maker. But he does have a couple triple digits on his past performances, Equibase wise. Runs a 107 first time out for Maker this year, which is just a huge number. I mean, it's up there with some of the tops in this field. And gets a giant jockey upgrade to Irad.
Mm.
So I was kind of intrigued by this one. I think this one definitely needs the pace to come back. Not as confident that this one will sit anywhere close. I feel like when you look at his races, he tends to be 5, 6, 7 lengths back at the half. But did beat Final Gambit, who ran 2 back, who ran fourth in last year's Kentucky Derby. So it's not like he's like running against bad horses, in my opinion. This is probably about the same class as he's been running against. So I figured with Irad jumping aboard, I thought he was worth a shot too to add to my ticket.
So here is that first leg of our ticket. I'm going to go with the 237. Vinny's going to go with the 267. The Fountain of Youth is the next race for us to talk about. So stay tuned. We'll take a quick break time out here on Nessa Nation and get to the Fountain of Youth. All right, it's Fountain of Youth time. It is that big Kentucky Derby prep that I had talked about being a big launch pad for horses on their way to the Kentucky Derby. And Vinny, so eloquently at the beginning of the show said, "This one is not as good as maybe years past." Now, when we texted each other on Sunday, I think, when the past performances came out, you said, "Oh, great look and feel." That was your first inclination to jump towards. Now we've had
Yep.
plenty of time to look at it, and you have maybe it sounds like a change of mind. What are you thinking for this year's Fountain of Youth?
Yeah, I mean, I just like I think a very competitive race. I'm not saying it's not a competitive race, and like I think some of these horses are going to be end up being could end up being very solid. I'm just not sure if like if the benchmark right now for the Derby is Paladin, who's the top of the leaderboard right now. I don't know. I mean, I like if Napoleon's like I guess if there's like three horses in here, maybe four that if they step up we can put him in that conversation. And I guess you start with Napoleon Solo if he improves off of or runs back to his Champagne last year at Aqueduct. It makes him a player, but like this race came back so bad. It's our time goes off the favorite here after that big debut at Saratoga. He's done nothing since. This was another bad. This was a bad race from him. Talkin, who's in this race, who ends up, I believe, Talkin runs second here. Yeah, Talkin ends up running second. He comes out of that and gets absolutely buried next time out by Paladin. I think he ran well off the board in the Remsen. So he's coming back. A Universe who came in third ended up running second in the Kentucky Jockey Club, and then has done absolutely nothing. Has done no running since really in the preps he's running. And all of that is what's behind him here. And this was a day where every race on the Aqueduct card basically looked just like this. It was a very speed favoring track that day. So I'm not really sure if this like if he runs back to it. I used him on my ticket because if he runs back to this and it wasn't just like a dressed up speed favoring track effort, like he's the horse to beat. But like, I feel like after watching the horses come back, ran behind him, I don't really know if it wasn't just a dressed up performance on a speed favoring track.
I I don't know what to do with them. I'm torn,
Yeah.
The 99 there pops off the page. The fact
Right.
that it's October, you know how I feel about horses kind of in that first time coming back. The works are consistent, February
Hmm.
20, February 13th, February 5th.
Yep.
Bullets, but they're 1 out of 5, there's a 1 out of 19 in there. I did see that, people were talking about how big he's gotten, so that's a good sign if you're backing him that he's put on some size and he's properly,
Yep.
grown is what you wanna hear, but I'm so tired of taking these horses that come out of these preps in New York and just burn me.
Do nothing.
Uh,
Right. And that's
uh,
kind of what I'm saying. It's just like when you looked at the rest of the field, it was like there was like a couple spots where it was like, yeah, if this horse steps up, he can run he can run a 99 or better. And then it's like you look at some of this field and it's like there's no way some of these horses are going to do that unless it's just like unless they've just improved that much from their last start that they jump off the page. But yeah, that's kind of why I used them because I'm like, if that effort wasn't really dressed up, here we are. Yeah, and then this is another horse, one of the other couple horses I thought that could have a chance is uh, Chief Wallabee. I mean, if he wins here and wins impressively, he's legit for Mott. I just don't know. I mean, it's not like last year with Sovereignty where you had a Godolphin homebred, royally bred horse. This
mm.
one's got all right pedigree, Constitution out of a Medaglia d'Oro dam. Like, not saying this horse can't get the distance, but the horse he beat, the Puma, who ends up running second as the favorite here, is wheeling back in the Tampa Bay Derby, and it's like, like he didn't beat him by that much. Like he beat him, but like I don't know. I feel like that would have been a better spot. And my gut reaction is the first time running two turns for Chief Wallaby, I probably would have been more inclined to use him at Tampa than I would be here. Maybe I'm wrong and he really is just a beast, but I mean like this was a nice race, but I also don't think, I wasn't that high on the Puma coming into this race.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, I don't
I'm
know.
high on Chief Wallaby. I mean, the fact that he started him out at 7 furlongs, I thought this was a really impressive run for a first-time starter. He gets a 91 Equibase speed figure. I love Junior Alvarado in this spot. He's a little given green here, kinda tilting his head
Yep.
right, and, to me, he has the makings. If he takes a step forward, I'd much rather have I don't know, like I said on the last I just don't know what to do with Napoleon Solo, so I'm more intrigued by using Chief Wallaby, especially at 9-2. Um, so I'm gonna use Chief Wallaby over I completely changed my ticket, by the way. We posted it there in the break, and I realized that I hadn't updated race 14, so, we'll
Oh.
have to update and make sure, and I changed it as you were talking, and I'm gonna change it again, and, Chief
Okay.
Wallaby will be on the ticket for me, so
Yeah.
he's one that we
I,
had on our number 5 in our top 5 on the channel, the first one we did together. Because I said we're putting him on here, I overruled
yeah.
you in your
Hey,
top 5 and we stuck him in,
if he's
so I'm
right,
putting him on my
hey,
ticket.
yeah. I just, again, like he's one of the other ones that I think like it could be a legitimate Kentucky Derby contender. The third one is the other horse that I'm using on my ticket with Napoleon Solo, and that's the one Jackson Hole.
Mm.
I just don't really know what to like. This horse is greener than grass. Like you listen to the call on this debut. Obviously we can't show it. We can't show the call or have you listen to it. But like this call, Pete Aiello nails this. Like he basically says he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's doing it well. Horse was so green. It, but then you watch the second start, and the second start was he was still green, but it was a night and day difference from the first race to his 3-year-old debut in January. It was he's still again he's still green, but night and day difference, and he improved. I know Equibase he only improved 8 points, but buyer wise he improved like 20 something points. I think they only gave him like a 52 buyer on his debut originally, and then like he goes gate the wire here, which is different than what he did on debut where he came from off the pace. So nice to see in 2 starts he's versatile, but he's still green here. He's still a little bit all over the place. He's still looking around, but he pretty much buried that field, which it wasn't a bad effort. So if he improves again, I think he's one for Pletcher, who he had a lot of hype on debut, and then they gave him a low number, and everybody kind of just forgot about him. Yeah, you give me 8-1 on him. If I'm right, it's gonna pay. If I'm wrong, you would just, he's just not as good. But I thought he was worth the price for winning 2 races 2 different ways for uh Johnny V. Pletcher, and it's a Windstar Farm's own horse.
Yeah, you made me alert of him, talking about how green he was, and we put him on our top 5 long shots. I think he was number 1 or number 2, maybe. Number 2, I think it was Iron Honor who took the first spot on that top 5. All right, here's my segment. Here's my chance to talk, about the number 5 Bravaro, and I know I'm in a solo camp. I've asked around, I've popped into chats, and no one has given me any credit for my pick here. But what you just talked about it's kind of the reason that I like Bravaro. You talked about all the horses that these other horses have run against. And for me, the number one horse is not Paladin. It's Nearly. That's just my opinion is that Nearly is the best from what I've seen visually. That this Holy Bull to me was very impressive. And, well, yeah, sure, we can ask who he's beaten in this race, but Incredible was a horse that you were really high on. Global Aviator was supposed to race in this race on Saturday, but he's not. The number 8 in this race was Bravaro, and I like this move here on the turn. He comes wide. He was keen at the beginning. He's not gonna catch Nearly, and Nearly's gonna pull away a little bit, but if I think Nearly's number 1, and this is maybe the difference, and Bravaro steps forward a little bit more, I'm much more intrigued by this horse at 8-1 for Saffy Joseph in Florida. How many times do we talk about this? And then Saffy beats us, and you guys are all going to be in the chat going, Saffy in Florida. Can't believe that happened. And now you're all saying that he doesn't have a chance. So to me, Tyler's back aboard. The number is low, right? Like that scares me, right? Going 83, 89, 81. I know that's not even how I like to play. I'm doing a little bit of the game that Vinny likes to do, which is who they beat, who they go against. And that's why you're talking against Napoleon Solo. And that's why I'm talking for Bravaro. And based on the fact that it sounds like everyone in the world is against him, I think I'm going to get a nice little price and maybe I'll look like a genius like I was with Silent Tactic. So,
Yeah,
Bravaro for me, staying close. Maybe he can be a little versatile. We'll check out RaceLens real quick as we wrap up. It has the number 10 Solitude Dude as the number one option. And look who on the turn is second there, my number five. I also am going to use the number 10. So that was what I switched up. I'm going to go 5, 6, 10. Uh,
yep.
I didn't want to use the 10 because of the post position
Uh,
that we talk about at Gulfstream at this distance, right? It's a deadly one, and Sovereignty is the only one that we saw. He's the
it's
outside speed. But the figures for me 94, 101, 96 uh,
yep.
jump. And now I know he doesn't get IRA back, which is intriguing. We get Pratt.
Yeah, that was honestly that was the reason I didn't use him. I was concerned, especially after the scratch. So he's technically breaking from post 9, which I at
Yeah, that's better.
Gulfstream any little bit, yeah, any little bit helps. But that's why I didn't use him. To be honest with you, is like he was the last horse off my ticket. So like this is the Safi I want over Bavaro. If you're right on Bavaro, you deserve all the credit because I kind of I'm in the camp that
Go
doesn't
ahead.
think he has a chance. But yeah,
That's
so,
okay.
so I yeah, if this horse was as good as his numbers say, I don't see why Irad jumps off. So that was my big thing. I feel like Irad went to the I feel like if Irad really thought that he had something there, that's the horse he's on rather than the Brad Cox horse who yeah, he was on last time as well, but hasn't been nearly as impressive as the Safi horse in my opinion.
I go 237 with a 5, 610. It's a $9 spend, more than I usually go for, but we'll try and hit this. Vinny's going 267 with the 1 7. It'll cost you $6. This is doubling down. Please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. We're a new channel, so we need all the subscribers and likes that we can get. And if I get Bravaro home, I better get 100 subscribers at the end of this video. Until next
Yes.
time, right? We'll be getting everyone to hit
Yep.
us up. Until next time, I'm Colin. He's Vinny. Good luck, everybody.